Sexual assault. For most of my life, I thought I'm not a part of it. I didn't commit any crime, and neither I will. So I'm good, I'm clear, right? But until I talked to my mom about it. This past December, I was in India, and we were having dinner, and I told my mom that it's sad that all these people commit this crime for the Me Too campaign. Then my mom told me, "You're a part of the problem." And I jumped up. I was like, "Mom, what do you mean? I didn't commit any crime, and I will." But then my mom said, "You see, there's way more to it than just the physical abuse." And that's what I'm going to talk about today, and some of the ways we can prevent it on an individual level. I grew up as a male in India. And while there are some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things to grow up as a male, there were some things I didn't like. I always kind of wondered, how's it like being a female? How's it like being a woman? So I remember I went up to my mom and I asked her, "Hey, Mom, what if I was a woman? What if I was a female? I think I look pretty in long hairs, right?" But then my mom said, being a woman, you have to decide that either you subscribe to these society norms or you break them. Being a woman, you're restricted by family and society. And on top of that, you have the fear of being harassed or assaulted. Growing up in India, what I didn't like as a male was women were seen as property of men. Women were seen as objects, especially sexual objects. In June 2014, I came to the US, and I learned more about this topic. And I found out that in the US, on a college campus, 1 in 5 undergraduate women and 1 in 13 men will be sexually assaulted in their college career. And 92% of those crimes will be committed by men. There has been this cycle that's been going on for years and years, which is the culture leading to abuse, feeding the stigma, and then stigma going back to the culture. And I'm going to explain this through a story. Cathy is a college student. She's doing her thesis on date rape, and she's also involved in a rape awareness program. This one night, Cathy and her friends wanted to go out to a party. But before that, they wanted to pregame at their friend's place, Amy. At Amy's place, they already drank 4 bottles of wine, and Cathy is drunk at that point. Then they go to the party, and Cathy drinks even more. And at that point, Cathy is really drunk. Justin, who is Cathy's and Amy's friends, asks them that I live close to Cathy and I can walk her home. Now, Cathy lives 2 blocks away from Justin. And Cathy was so drunk that night that she wasn't able to walk. So Justin decided that she can stay at his place for the night. The next morning, Cathy woke up on the same bed as Justin with no clothes on. She was scared. She didn't know what happened that night. And she asked Justin, "Where the hell are my clothes?" Justin asked her, don't you remember anything from last night?" She said, "No, I don't." And then Justin said, "Don't worry, I wore a condom." Cathy was scared. She didn't know. She didn't know what happened that night. So she just left by herself to her apartment. After this comes the stigma. And be ready for it. A couple days after, Cathy told this to a friend of hers. Her friend responds, "Cathy, when you're drunk, you sleep with anyone." After that, Cathy told this to her boyfriend. His response, "Cathy, you were jealous because I slept with someone else. Cathys' roommate started to ask her questions like, where were you last night? How much are you drinking? Who are you going out with? And all of these questions that started to treat Cathys like a baby. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to step outside of your shoes and step into Cathys' world. I want you to leave your world and step into Cathys' world. And now you see, everybody is blaming you. The rape that happened that night was your fault, not Justin's. This is often known as blaming the victim. It took a month to Cathys to realize that she was raped. Now I want to talk about what can we do about it. You see, in this whole story, it wasn't just Cathys and Justin who was involved. There were more people around them. Amy, who was Cathys' friend, could have asked Cathys that night that, hey, do you want to crash at my place tonight? This is often known as bystander intervention. In simple words, if you see something wrong, you do something. But now you have to check that it's safe for you to do something. And if it's not, you ask someone else to do it. For example, if you're at a bar and you see someone is really drunk and someone is giving them drinks even when they're drunk, you can go up to the bartender and ask, like, hey, can you check on that person? If you're in a party, maybe ask the party host to do the same thing. I know it's easy to say and hard to do. And even sometimes I go blank whenever I see something like this. So I came up with this method of nice pants method. What I do is, whenever I see something like that, I go up to them and I tell them, I love your pants. Can I get it? It's a simple way to have a conversation. And maybe I might have stopped a rape. And in future, if you see something like this, you can ask the same thing. And you might have stopped someone from getting raped. To break the stigma, check on yourself. Are you victim blaming? Oftentimes, we tend to ask questions like, Cathys should have done blank. If I was Cathys, I would have done blank. If Cathys had known this, blank. These statements doesn't help the victim at all. Instead, it makes the victim feel that it was their fault. A study done in 2016 also shows that if a story is told from victim standpoint, people are more likely to blame the victim. For an example, Cathys was raped by Justin. In this case, people blamed Cathys for it. But if the story is told from the criminal standpoint, people are more likely to blame the criminal. An example would be Justin raped Cathys. And at this point, people were more likely to blame Justin for it. Now, how to break the culture? For culture, let's start asking each other questions. I think as men, we can ask women this question, how's it like being a woman? How's it like being a female? And as women, you can ask the same question to men. I would love to share my opinions on it. And of course, here I'm just only doing male and female, but there are more genders, lesbian, gay, trans, and bisexual, and even more. So to quickly go over these 3 points, if you see something wrong, ask them about their pants. Second thing, check on yourself. Are you victim blaming? And tell the story from the criminal standpoint. Third point, ask each other questions. I would also like to add that I've been working on a real-time anonymous chat platform so that people who go through something like this, they have someone to talk to. In the end, I would like to show a picture of my family and a picture of my mom and I. My mom did make me realize that I'm a part of it, but she also told me that I can do something about it. And I strongly believe that so can each one of you. Thank you.